Amity City. Do you ever wonder what you'll leave behind? Once you die, what's going to be left of you? Is your mom really going to keep your favorite old t-shirt? Is that stuffed animal you cherished just going to sit unpurchased in a thrift store? Is all that's left that hoodie your ex borrowed that their kid now proudly wears, unaware of the story behind it? We're naturally pretty attached to the things in our lives. What about after we die? Tonight, I want to talk about possession. This case was offered to me by one of you via our Tumblr, so thank you for that. The message came from @research-duck and reads, Portbridge, the old Mr. O'Toy warehouse. Someone's spirit needs to be set free. P.S. The ghost is named Amara. We're going to keep with the format we've been doing. I'm just going to tell you the story, and we can pick it apart tomorrow night. Okay?
Claire, are you trying to be spooky?
Dude, I don't know. If we're going to get the attention we need, maybe I've got to be more entertaining. Where's your horror spirit?
I don't even believe in the supernatural, so...
And they assigned you to me? Dude, why are you even here?
I want my own sports recap show someday.
You're breaking my heart, Mark. Anyways, me and Mr. Cat decided to investigate after last night's broadcast. We headed down to Portbridge, using the PACFA, watching the skyscrapers of Westbridge melt away into the brownstones, nightclubs, and hipster coffee shops that Portbridge is so full of. At the edge of the borough, on the shore, is where all the industrial buildings that were abandoned sit now. Shipping and industry go through Wickbridge nowadays, so Portbridge just has a graveyard to its blue-collar past sitting on the edge. I had to ask around. Seemingly the sign for Mistero toys was sold to a collector years ago, so now it's just a nondescript husk surrounded by nondescript husks. I thought about asking Luce to come with me, but I decided it was probably best to go it alone. Something about this investigation felt pretty different, and I didn't want to endanger my friend if this ended up being more complicated than your typical haunting. I'll admit I'm still new to the banishing of ghosts, but that gut feeling was there, and I'm starting to learn to trust those feelings. Mr. Cat and I climbed the chain-link fence and walked across the desolate parking lot towards the old factory. The front door was unlocked, the old steel rusting a bit and letting out a shriek as I forced it open, heralding my entrance, as though it was excited to welcome a person for the first time in years. The air was dusty, the conveyor belts long standing still. The wooden crates still filled with old toys and stuffed animals, now food for the moths. The Mistero toy warehouse also served as a factory for a brief period of time. I turned on my flashlight and started wandering around. Some of the crates had been kicked over, emptied across the floor, likely by some collector trying to sell a vintage teddy bear for an insane amount of money online. Or maybe it was just some teen trying to get their anger out. I know Mistero Toys has a long history in Amity. They're still technically here, but after Oliver Mistero died, the company became something entirely different. The warehouse and factory was abandoned 35 years ago. My mother actually gave me her Mistero Badger stuffed animal from when she was little. It was odd to see so many of them rotting and torn apart on the concrete floor. I kept wandering around this wreckage of childhood nostalgia, but I wasn't feeling a supernatural presence. Yet. Let's run some ads, and then we can get back into it. Red on Rare is running a new special. Until the end of winter, if you purchase a bottle of wine with your meal, you get one steak entirely free. As always, we require black tie dress code, but we would like to give back to Amity City and her people. We want to lower costs, make it easier to enjoy the finest dining experience in the city. Come to Red and Rare. See what all the fuss is about. D'Artagnan Pizza and Games. A great place for parents and kids. From 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., bring in the kids to play arcade games. And from 10 p.m. after, come to the casino. Play some games yourself. We're rolling out a whole new set of animatronics that the kids will love. D'Artagnan Pizza and Games. Fun for the whole family. Okay, but did you see Wesker's catch last night?
I'm a Bloodhounds fan.
You live in Amity City, and you are a Stockton Bloodhounds fan. Dude, I don't even know you. This next song is Constantine by Dark League. Okay, back to it. Me and the cat just wandered around for a few hours, waiting for whatever supernatural occurrence we were expecting to find.
Yo, does Mr. Cat like the name Bruno?
I don't know. Why?
Just ask him.
What do you say? Do you like the name Bruno more than Mr. Cat? Sure. Let's go with Bruno for now. Thanks, Mark. Anyways, we walked around for a bit. I started calling out the ghost's name, but without knowing much about the case, it was hard to play the right cards to get the right response. However, I started to notice something. Anytime Bruno and I entered the main warehouse, one of the toys had moved. A few feet. It was a Mistero badger, orange with purple patches. Every time Bruno and I left the room, it would travel closer and closer to the door. I decided to try something. So I sat down on the floor and picked up the stuffed animal. It weighed a ton and tried to wriggle out of my grasp, the squishy, frayed plush almost lunging to get a sight of me. I let it fall to the floor, and it slowly moved to the other side of the room, taking those heavy steps that almost look like the way a toddler walks. Suddenly, it went limp, and some other toy beside it sparked to life. It was one of those baby dolls with the speaker built in so it could really cry. Clearly, the battery was falling apart, so it sounded like a melting jukebox, but it attempted to turn the various sounds programmed into the poor toy into a sentence. "You want play." I asked it if it was Amara, and it gave me a canned "yay" sound that I'm assuming the doll made when you correctly identified its needs. I nodded and sat quietly with the spirit. It would jump from toy to toy, almost lifting them like marionettes. I could see the sun was rising, and I told Amara I would have to leave soon. That's when every baby doll in the room started to cry. The tinny sound of their broken talk boxes made a horrible shrieking sound as their cries got louder and louder. I watched as one of the Mistero badgers stood up and started convulsing, its soft plastic claws melting and warping, growing sharp and long. I figured I should do something or risk being turned into party streamers by an outdated children's doll. I told Amara I would stay, and her tantrum slowly ended. The screaming ceased, the badger toys stopped shaking. I even sang for a little bit to calm her down. Once she was settled, I asked her how she did that, and she tried her best to form a sentence, but I didn't quite understand it. Suddenly I felt really cold. The world turned blue, like it did when I interacted with the spirit of Jay Hollis. However, it didn't last long. I heard a set of voices and felt my lips move. I could hear my own voice and two others. "This corpse is claimed, ghost." This seemed to upset her more, and her tantrum began again. I now had even more questions to answer, so I ran to the office. Her bladed badger stuffed animal followed me closely. The plastic claws were unnaturally sharp, tearing into the concrete, leaving deep gashes. I made it to the warehouse foreman's office, and my phone began to ring. I have this stupid meme ringtone from a few decades ago. Seemingly, Amara liked it because the badger sat down and started watching me. This gave me an idea. I pulled out my phone, ignored the call from my mom, and handed the device to the floor. Amara started typing in my notes app. She asked to play like 12 more times. Then I asked her why she couldn't enter my mind earlier. She said two of the mean ones were inside my head, and therefore she couldn't fit in the space. I asked if she was alone. She said the other ghosts avoided her warehouse, jealous of how easily she gets to play with toys when most of them can't. I asked if she wanted to not be alone anymore. She said yes. I used the ritual Gene Schuyler taught me. I set out those tall church candles. I realized the ritual is supposed to be done by two people, but I don't know, seemingly Bruno's presence was good enough. Last set of ads, then we can finish this story out.
Maximus and David are here for you. Whether you were wounded in a car accident, snubbed out of workers' comp, dealing with an unfair landlord, or a mysterious injury, we are here to help you. Amity City's premier prosecuting and defense attorneys, who happen to be only a few months from passing the bar, want to help you. We're here for you, and we will not stop until we win you the compensation you deserve. Maximus and David, trust us.
Does your home experience random power outages? Is the winter cold pushing through those single-pane windows? Call Hebersham & Sons. We pride ourselves on quick, discreet maintenance that your landlord will never even notice. We're here to help you, not bow to the landman's greed. Visit our website to book a discreet appointment today. Hebersham & Sons. There are a lot of us.
This song is Skate Infected by Dreamstone Park. So, let's finish this out. I finished the ritual, my nose bled a bit. That horrid cold that I feel every time I work with ghosts danced over me. But it was over. I couldn't find Amara's presence, so I started to leave. As I walked through the warehouse, something drew my eye. It was just a simple package wrapped in brown paper. There was a tag written in high-quality handwriting that read, "To the Warden of Amity City." I spent the day recovering. I brought the box with me, as I'm certain it wasn't there when I entered the warehouse just hours before. I figured we could try to figure out who the Warden of Amity City is together, so that we can get this box to them. Bruno! Dang it. You ripped the paper. What is this? Okay, Bruno has opened the package, so, I guess we're gonna take a look inside. Apologies to the Warden of Amity City, whoever you may be. There is a book and a deck of cards. The book is like an old leather journal, seemingly written in, and the deck of cards. The backs of them are blue and white, and they all just have symbols on them. Not the standard playing card symbols. Yeah. So, listeners, we have a few new mysteries tonight. Who is the Warden of Amity City? What did Amara mean that I had someone else living in my head? And of course, what happened to Amara? So, I suppose we will get into all of that tomorrow night. For now, I want to break down what we know about ghosts so far. A quick refresher, I guess. Ghosts inhabit the sunless place, a part of our world that we cannot see or touch. The sunless place is not the afterlife, it's just a waiting room that ghosts can get stuck in. Somehow, Amara could possess objects. Whatever she thinks is possessing me is one of the quote-unquote mean ones. And that's what we know. Let's leave it here for the night. I'm gonna go to the library and try to find some answers on the Warden of Amity City. At least now I have a deck to play 24 with, although I don't think this deck would be really good for playing 24. Good morning, Amity City. Go get some coffee. It's gonna be a long day. Amity After Dark is an unfiction horror podcast produced by Livewire Stories. This show is written and produced by Gwen Fullman. The music you heard in this episode was made by Gwen Fullman. Claire White is played by Gwen Fullman. Mark is voiced by Theo. All 4 advertisers in this episode were voiced by Gwen Fullman. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at Livewire Multimedia Stories to receive episodes a week early for only $2 a month. Check out our website at livewiretabletop.wixsite.com/livewire. Subscribe to us on YouTube, or join our Discord in the description below. The best way you can support us is to show this to a friend. Thank you.